Hi, welcome to my studio. My name's Kris. In this video, I'm going to share about a new color on my watercolor palette. It's Daniel Smith Neutral Tint. This color has really changed the way I mix colors for my paintings. I'd like to tell you more about it. Let's get started. Let's start out with a little color theory and answer the question, what is a neutral tint? I have here a color wheel that arranges all the common colors of the watercolor palette in a circle, with the cooler colors on the right and the warmer colors on the left. By the way, this is a Quiller wheel developed by Stephen Quiller. You can purchase a high-quality laminated version of this color wheel on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. As you can see, in addition to the colors around the outside or perimeter of the circle, there are also colors in the middle at varying distances from the edge. The closer a color is to the center of the circle, the more neutralized that color is. You can see here in the very center of the circle the label neutral, and right next to it the label neutral tint. So this chart helps us visualize where neutral tint sits in relationship to all the other colors on the wheel. Now, you probably know you can create a neutralized color by mixing a color with its complement. That is, the color that's directly across at the opposite side of the wheel. This is a traditional way to make a neutral, and many artists recommend it. I use this method myself. However, there is the possibility that when you're mixing colors, because of the varying different pigments that are used to formulate these colors, that you might end up creating a muddy color when mixing certain combinations. So, enter neutral tint. This color was specifically formulated to mix well with all the other colors on the watercolor palette. It thereby limits the problem with muddy colors, and it provides a very easy, convenient way to neutralize colors. Neutral Tint by Daniel Smith. It is a semi-transparent, non-granulating, low-staining pigment. And I'm just going to swatch it out here along the top of this board. I'm going to mix this color with every other color on my palette, so you can just get a sense for how it mixes and neutralizes these other pigments. There you go. Just try to create a nice gradient from the darkest dark of neutral tint all the way to the lightest. I'm going to start with my red colors. I think that neutral tint really does mixes some really beautiful colors with the reds. And then I'm going to move around through the purples, blues, greens, back up to the yellows in that order. I'm going to speed up the video and just show you at the end. I'm going to talk about all the colors, so I'm not going to introduce each color separately here. I'll do that at the end. And I'll speed this up so you can just see all these colors being mixed with neutral tint. Okay, I'm done swatching all of these colors. I've got 21 colors here from my palette, and I've mixed it with the neutral tint. And I'm going to let this dry and come back and take a look at the colors. So these are the colors that I've mixed with neutral tint. I've got Pyrrole Red, Permanent Alizarin Crimson, Quinacridone Rose, Quinacridone Lilac, Ultramarine Violet, Dioxazine Purple, French Ultramarine Blue, Cobalt Blue, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Cerulean Blue Chromium, Cobalt Teal Blue, Phthalo Turquoise, Phthalo Green, Sap Green, Green Gold, Hansa Yellow Light, New Gamboge, Transparent Pyrrole Orange, Burnt Sienna, Naphthalmide Maroon, and finally Burnt Umber. Now if we look in here a little closer, you can just see how for each of these colors, adding neutral tint has in some senses darkened the color, but really more than darkening the value of the color, it's really just neutralized the color so that it is less saturated, less bright, and closer to gray, which is exactly what neutral tint is supposed to do. Again, the reason I've started using this in my paintings is that I'm learning. As I first started painting watercolor, I used to just use a lot of really bright saturated colors. And I began to realize as I painted outdoors, plein air, that the colors that come right out of the tube really are not really the colors you see very much in nature. For example, we don't usually see this really bright green. This is green gold. I love this color. But that color, that bright, does not occur in nature very much. It's so bright, so brilliant, so saturated. But if you took a little neutral tint, added it to that, this color right in here, you see that a lot in nature. This more neutralized green. Neutral tint really mixes beautifully with these reds and creates, again, more neutralized versions. These are almost, the Quinacridone Rose and Quinacridone Lilac are almost a fluorescent color. They're so bright. Again, these colors don't occur a lot in nature, but when you neutralize them, move them a bit more towards gray, you start to see instances of these colors in nature a bit more. And so I'm just learning that really to neutralize the colors allows me to get a little bit closer to the colors I actually see in nature, particularly in landscapes, which is what I am painting a lot of. So I just started adding neutral tint to my palette, and I use it a lot, and I mix it in just to neutralize things a little bit and get a little closer to the natural colors I see in nature. So that's how I'm using neutral tint. I hope this has been helpful. If you like this video, you found it helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I put out videos like this about once a week. Thanks for watching. See you next time.